cosa vinagre. Compás, ponémosle el compás para lo que sea, me da igual. I'll let it fluid. So, get on with it. Put the ruddy compass on. Here we go. It's wonderful actually to have the flamentronome. You've heard of a metronome, but I don't have a bunch of wonderful Andalusian gitanos, flamencos here, so I need this rhythm that I can put on here, if I can find it, which instead of being a metronome, it's a flamentronome. So it's a metronome for flamenco. We have special rhythms in flamenco. Here we go. And I like using this one. There's one more that I almost forgot I had. I might test that one out as well. So speed it up a bit. La mierda. Ya está. Me da igual. ¿Dónde está el tabaco? Tabaco. So now, that frightened them all away. You wouldn't know what flamenco was anyway if it kicked you in the anus. So, so what the heck? What do you do now? You open another beer and you just throw it by me. Who bloody well cares about spontaneous flamenco broadcasts anyway? You know, just go and put on your plastic shit. That's all I say. And I'm not saying I'm the bee's knees or anything. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is there's a difference between plastic shit and an instrument being played by a real human being trying to express real human emotions, and not some pre-programmed bloody drum machine that people are jumping around to as slaves to the machine. You know, if that isn't an example of being assimilated into the Borg by the Borg, it's exactly the same thing, you know, because you're jumping around, you're dancing to synthetic rhythms. I'm guilty of doing the same thing. Once in a while there wasn't nothing else to dance to. Yeah. So I've done that too. Some upbeat techno or something with some fantasy design in there. Not just a boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Because the music people are listening to these days isn't music at all. It's an insult to life. It's an insult to freedom. Adding insult to injury. Synthetic rubbish. So go and tune in to that, or stay here and listen to my spontaneous efforts. So there you go. We'll go and look at those messages. Who blooming cares anyway? 4 messages coming in. Yeah. Oh, alright. Oh, you do. You might you might think you do. Okay, that's fine. You think you know what I mean. People presume. That's fine. So what I've written here, let me try and clarify this a little bit without telling you the answer, which means I'll probably never. That's what it says here. It says whatever, who really cares anyway? Somebody's answered in some. Oh, right, okay, lovely, lovely. Just make sure you have your plastic music ready, because I'm coming here with my guitar, and you might not be able to take it. I need a toilet. This is not a serious broadcast, okay? So actually, freedom needs a mention for people today. So freedom, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Have you thought about what freedom is in its entirety and its freedom, eh? That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. Something as close as possible to it, which is very difficult these days, as we live in a Nazi global dictatorship, in case you haven't heard about it, in case you haven't noticed, you know, but then you're probably so trained and enslaved that you wouldn't have the slightest idea what I'm talking about. Most people have no idea what I'm talking about, and they usually cut me off when I'm in the middle of a sentence because they don't realise, even by the tone of my voice, that I'm actually going to continue that sentence and actually fill out and have a point, often to the story or whatever metaphor it is or whatever it is I'm just trying to describe to the best of my abilities. Sometimes language lacks well, it's not the language necessarily just the language, it's also the absorption or lack of absorption from those actually, well, the lack of absorption is also related to the lack of interest, because when you're living in as a slave, as your mind is enslaved, right? Your mind is enslaved, so you won't be able to fathom what anybody says to you, because you're just following an instruction manual. That's what you're doing. You're not a real human being anymore. You're just a slave. You have basically just agreed to being a chunk of meat, a slab of meat, basically. That's what you are. Registered on a bit of paper. That's what you are. A human resource. As you slave away for this sick global Nazi system, right? Now I have to put up with these bloody neo-Nazis. There's more of them coming out. One guy came up to me. He says, "Are you a neo-Nazi?" I said, "No, I'm an anti-racist. And I'm definitely not a Nazi, and I'm certainly definitely not no neo-Nazi." I mean, I was amazed. Amazed that they would ask me such a question, and I said, "Well, don't you know?" I mean, the guy doesn't know his left nostril from his lug hole. So, you know. Anyway, I'm going to go and check my messages, see if what's his face is there. Maybe say, I don't know, maybe I'm not going to do that either. I really, you know, can you tell I'm a little bit sort of unsure what to do with my day except for sit here and play the guitar. I've gone out, I helped somebody wash the floor on Hoover and stuff. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, they helped me, I helped them back. I think that's fair enough. I think that's one of the more positive things of my day today. Somebody helped me drive away some trash here, and in return I helped them hoover and wash the floors and stuff in this place. I think that's good, that's good. Nobody was paid anything, we just reward each other by helping each other out. Now, if only there was more of that in this world, that we communicated with each other, communication, and helping each other, you know, but then you're so institutionalized in your nut that you can't do anything without that advice, can you? Oh, please, sir, what shall I do now? I'm so helpless, and I don't have any moral compass because I need everything done for me. I need every thought done for me. I need physical actions described, the ones that you want to do. You need them described for you before you actually set them into action. Well, even an insect has more purpose to life than a contemporary human being, domesticated slave. Because even an insect is more intelligent, call it instinct if you like, that's what humans are lacking these days, more intelligent about guiding their own life and destiny than you modern brainwashed humans. They're a sorry state of you're basically just bowing down and supporting, and we're paying taxes to this Nazi system. Same thing as the Nazis, exactly the same. Right? They tell you that there's too many of you. You wanna reduce the population, right? So that's a declaration of war. Okay, that's the same thing. They're telling you in such a subtle way. Oh, there's too many of you. You have to go, right? And you're still sitting there paying your taxes to this sick system. You can't see anything wrong with it yet. No. And why can't you do that? You know, it's impossible to survive without it, I suppose, because you're so ingrained in it. You can't rip yourself loose from it. And when you do try to do so, you see the hard hammer hitting down. In a world of slavery, an enslaved planet. And you just go about your day. Anyway, don't you? You're happy with your slavery, aren't you? You love it. As long as you get your jam sandwich and your pat on your head, yeah? While everything turns to turmoil, and we can sit here and la-di-da and have a chuckle about something, I find it that lacks depth extremely. You know, we're going to sit here and we're going to chuckle about what's happening in the world, ignoring it. And you think you can go about your everyday life and it's not going to affect you in the long run. What is being introduced here, what has been introduced, and what is being done. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the dictatorship, a global dictatorship here. It's been going on for millennia, and now it's straight in your face and you still can't see it. And if you try pointing it out, then suddenly, you know, you get the automated response, you see? Then you get the automated response, the Pavlovian response. Ping, you got the trigger coming in, triggering the automated response, calling you a conspiracy theorist if you try to say anything factual at all. Challenging any so-called politically correct pile of ruddy bullshit. Okay? So, yeah, on the other hand, I'm saying chuckling. Enjoy every moment you have left. Because you won't have any descendants to enjoy it after you. As we're all being sterilised, chemically sterilised and depopulated as I speak, with every technique you can possibly imagine. Yeah, that is obvious for anybody who has a nut screwed on their frickin' shoulders. As you're brainwashed from every conceivable angle and every conceivable technique, because when they take your mind, they also control your body. So you hijack the mind with a fairy tale, and then you take control of that person or group of persons, which is more common. So you give them a fairy tale, and then you hijack their consciousness. And when these idiots, gullible idiots, believe the fairy tale, they will act out accordingly to the storyline. Because you're a slave. That's what you are. And I'm enslaved too. I'm not free. I try my best to be as free as possible within the restrictions made for us. From the moment we are born into this world, conceived or whatever, to the moment we die, we're supposed to fuel this war machine. Every penny you pay, most of it goes to this war machine, or a big part of it. Actually, most of it. So we're paying through the nose back to the government paying over 75% tax here in Norway. If that isn't slavery, what is, eh? Here in Norway, over 75% goes back to the government. Way much more, but at least 75%. So our slave labour goes to fuel their luxury 5-star hotel private plane lives. But these are the same people flying around in private planes who are in our faces about the global depopulation agenda. But we're paying for their private planes, their private cars, their 5-star hotels, their nookie parties, whatever it is they do. We are paying through the nose for it, I mean. We are paying here in Norway over 75% tax to this swine, these parasites called the royal families of Europe, who are parasites and swine of the worst imaginable kind. And the people they employ to do their dirty work are also of the worst imaginable scum on this earth, right? That's what the military services are hired killers for parasitic scumbags. That's what it is, right? And you out there doing the dirty work and you haven't questioned what you're doing and for what reason, because you don't have a frickin' nut, do you? Maybe you'll find it soon if it's, you know, you got no feelings for the people you're killing because you've been programmed like a frickin' machine. Stand up, sit down, bow down, stand up, sit down, rub your tummy, pat your head, all at the same time. Simon Says, yeah? Because you are under the thumb, right? And expect everyone else to be under the thumb too, don't you? Because that's the norm for you. Anything that challenges your little norm is like frickin' a challenge to your prison, isn't it? Because you're so happy in your prison, they pamper you, right? They pamper you with a plastic spoon. And some people get the silver spoon, which has all been sold to China now anyway, so, you know. And they're going to come at you with the vaccines. Watch them come up with the one fictitious story after the other. What was that movie? World War Z, right? World War Z. What do you got now? Zika virus, psyop. Find any excuse to poison the masses, like spray them from the skies, yeah. Officially approved experimental toxins. Bet you just love the government spraying you with this shite. You think it's all justified. It's all justified in your pathetic little mind, isn't it? Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have the audacity to do this type of thing to anybody else, and I would expect the worst if I did. That's right. So why aren't these people getting the worst, eh? Why aren't the chemtrailers getting the worst? Why aren't these swine enforcing so-called law getting the worst? Do you even dare to challenge the system? This Nazi dictatorship? Same thing. It's the same thing as a Masonic Nazi dictatorship. That's what it is. You know, these pathetic people all over this planet. Either they get led down one path or another path. It's all laid out for you because you have no consciousness. You allowed yourself to be separated from yourself as it's contaminated. Your mind is contaminated with bullshit. That's what it is. And you wouldn't know what it was because you can't tell the difference between bullshit and something real. Because there's a difference between belief and knowing. There's a big difference. I know for a fact that I am sitting down right now and holding this beer can. No doubt about it. Okay? This is a fact. I know that the sun rises in the east every morning. It's guaranteed, right? We know that to be true. Call it the east, whatever, you know. It comes up over the horizon. That's what it does. Anyway, I'm stopping this broadcast. That's stupid rubbish anyway.